I started doing it right after the Maersk, Alabama happened, the Captain Phillips story. And I did it right after that. In the initial days, we'd board in the Suez Canal. We'd cruise down the Red Sea. The Red Sea ends at what's called the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait brings you into the Gulf of Aden. So as soon as we get into the Gulf of Aden, the shipping lanes are very clear. Everyone knows where the shipping lanes are. And we could see it on the radar. You'd see a mothership and they'd be trailing like 6 or 7 of these little Russian-made speedboats. In the early days, they'd see us and they'd come out. And they got smarter because the early days they'd come out probably anywhere from 3 to 7 boats with anywhere from 3 to 7 guys per boat. As soon as we PID weapons and we're within range, we're engaging the biggest, baddest weapon system on the boat and then the driver. If we're engaging, everyone dies. As it went on, they'd cover up their weapons with tarps and they'd get real close and then pull out the weapons and start engaging the ship to get them to heave to. They'd get close with the weapons covered up to see if security came up with guns and then they just turn and burn.
I'm super excited to welcome Greg Lapin to the show, along with Lily.
Yeah, Lily Pad.
She doesn't invite me, but she's about to.
No, she won't.
She's going to go after Daniel here in a second. Daniel behind. She does not like Daniel behind.
Daniel
the camera.
came up and did the sticks for the clap, and she was like, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready to go.
Eat him, Lily. So, hey, if you don't know who Greg is, Greg's man, such a small world. We've connected in so many levels. And, Greg is currently the one of the head trainers at FieldCraft Survival, runs their jiu-jitsu program. They're full-time in Heber City?
In Provo now. So
Provo.
they moved their headquarters from Heber City down to Provo to that big 10.
That's where I was last time. I taught a seminar there. Yep. And so, you guys know Mike Glover and I have been friends for a very long time. And I'm a big part of FieldCraft Survival. Love the company and love Mike and everyone there. And now Greg's there. You teach a lot of other stuff there too?
Yep. Yeah. Mike he twisted my arm. It started, actually, the memory came up today, 1 year ago today, when I was at his house up in Heber City.
Okay.
And we talked about this and he goes, hey man, this is my brainchild. This is what I want to do. Do you know a guy that would be good to start the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program for me and run it? And I was like, let me think about it. And like a week later, he's like, you're the guy. I need you. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty happy out here. Like my academy, I got a big academy in Louisiana. I was a full-time SWAT guy there. I had a good life. And he's like, dude, you live FieldCraft. He's like 20 plus years in the tactical environment, contracting overseas, high level shooter, CQB, off-road mobility. I raced cars for a while. I raced dirt bikes. He's like, you do all the moto stuff. He's like, you're a pilot. He's like, I need you. Like, you're the guy. I was like, dude, I'm happy. I'm not moving my family and everything. So we saw how that worked out for me, right? Now I'm living in Provo, but honestly, I haven't looked back. I love it. I needed a change. I'm not from Louisiana originally.
Yeah.
And it's an awesome project. Mike is like, people see Mike, people see you as this like celebrity status, right? Mike is a salt of the earth guy. Mike is a true leader and really cares about his people, you know?
Well, and you mentioned some of it, but outside of being a jiu-jitsu black belt and going over there as a jiu-jitsu black belt, by the way, everyone here is jiu-jitsu.
This is a dangerous room. This is a dangerous room right now.
And there's 4 of us right here, and I think Lily's probably more dangerous than any of us. You don't have a black belt, but she has a camo collar, but she has those teeth.
She's got some big old.
She's got those teeth.
That black muzzle tells you a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
But outside of jiu-jitsu, you have 20 years of as a SWAT officer, as a police officer, and then you've worked at the highest level of government contracting for intelligence agencies and worked all over the world in some of the most austere places in the world.
I was pretty lucky, man. Right place, right time.
That's what I said, small world, because you worked with Carl, one of a long time. Carl and I go back so long. We were at Third Force Recon together. We were good friends. Ran a company together.
Carl and I go back, I guess 2010, about 14 years.
Yeah.
We bounced around and we worked some of the piracy stuff together. And then he ended up coming out to Abu Dhabi a couple of years after I went out there.
Yeah.
And, now he's back in Texas.
Yeah.
So it's That's crazy. It's small world. And one of my good buddies always says real knows real.
Yeah.
So the real guys it's a small community within the real dudes. Yeah. I don't know how I became a real dude, but apparently I know I am.
You're a real dude, man. Definitely. So I guess to start off, just take us through that journey. Like, some of the agencies you worked with and some work you've done. How'd you get started in that? Like growing up, like what led you there?
Yeah.
How did you
it's funny.
become Greg?
I think like a lot of kids, I didn't grow up with video games really. We had Atari. That was it.
Kind of had to blow the cartridge.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You'd roll the ball and the little thing, right? But yeah, wasn't into video games, was outside riding BMX bikes, building jumps. And my thing was like, what do you want for birthday? I want to go to the surplus store and get all the old Vietnam stuff.
Yeah.
And I had like the old Green Beret books and the old long range reconnaissance patrol books and stuff, and Men with Green Faces. That was a SEAL book. Yeah. That was one of the first books I read. And that was what I did probably until way too old, like turned nerdy, like I was still like 15, 16 years old, and I was getting jocked up in all my, old, if you were really cool, you got tiger stripe stuff, and the green jungle boots. And
that is pushing age. Like girls don't want to.
No, girls don't want to hang out with you when you're like playing dress up and digging fighting holes out in the out in the woods, But that's all I ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
So my parents were very kind of like white collar. I was kind of the black sheep, and they didn't want me going in the military, but they kind of conceded and said, all right, we'll take you to a officer recruiter. Because if you go, you got to go as an officer, because they didn't know anything and I didn't have anyone to guide me. So I went to an officer recruiter, went in there, filled out all this paperwork, got accepted to college, went off to college, and got involved with the Buds Motivator program at the time. And so I was working with this Buds Motivator program, like 1 weekend a month, going off, doing the PFT, doing certain exercises with reserve or active duty SEALs, because they were the only ones offering those. There's lots of those programs now, but basically through Naval Special Warfare was the only one at the time. And did that for several years, went to go DEP in. And when I went to go DEP in, they pulled my paperwork from the officer recruiter and it said, well, it shows here you have a food allergy. And I said, yeah, no big deal. He put it down. Well, that's considered, this was pre-war, before the war. He's like, well, that's an allergy to common foods. It's a deniable thing.
What?
Yeah. And here I'm, this young guy, physically fit, like, everything that they want, but I had an allergy. And they're like, we'll apply for a waiver. No big deal. So I applied for a waiver. Waiver went down to BUMED and came back denied.
Now you get your cut off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now you can get your cut off and like, still being like, yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, you're good.
My bad. No.
We can beep.
All right, cool. You might need to beep a few more times. I'm really trying. I'm trying to do it good. Chad's a pious man. I know this. I'm not super pious, but I'm trying.
I did say.
Yeah. But yeah, so the waiver came back, PDQ'd, permanently disqualified. So I was permanently disqualified. Make a long story short, I found a mentor when I was at Rutgers University, finishing up my degree. He was probably 10, 12 years older than me, just got out of force reconnaissance. I believe he was a second force guy.
Yeah. And
he just got out, was going to check into third force. And he kind of took me under his wing. I was like, dude, we'll figure this out. And we were PTing together every day. He'd take me shooting, taught me land nav, everything, you name it. September 11th happened. Towers came down, and his dad was a long time NYPD officer, very high ranking. And he said, hey, Deutsche Bank needs a security team to go down, secure one of the buildings that was damaged, remove a whole bunch of gold bullion, bearer bonds, you name it. He's like, I need you to put together a team like now. And he asked me, hey, do you want to come do this with me? I'm like, bro, I'm a college student. What do I know? I'm a college. Like, what do I know? He's like, dude, we've been working together for the last year. For the last year, we've been shooting together, working out together. He's like, I will teach you the job. So I went and worked for Deutsche Bank for a little bit, doing corporate security for them with him. Met a lot of soft guys there. He was bringing in soft guys, active duty guys to come up and get some work and make some money, and some guys that were out and stuff. Met guys from all over. And they're like, well, if you can't go into the military now, if you're disqualified, go to the most dangerous city in the country, become a cop. So I ended up in New Orleans, you know? So yeah, went down to New Orleans, became a cop right before Hurricane Katrina hit.
Okay.
Was a cop there for Hurricane Katrina. Best time to be a cop. Like, you want to do cop stuff. Yeah. Best time to be a cop. That was crazy. We can share stories about that. Yeah.
I worked in St. Charles Parish and right there. And, and I worked undercover in the 6th District in New Orleans.
Oh yeah. Dude, I was assigned to the 6th District for a while. Yeah, for sure.
By the way, if those that know the 6th District in New Orleans, Jeff Woolen was a cop there too. He's another recon Marine. whole side, the front of 6th District is full of bullet holes because it's like kind of initiation to drive by and shoot up.
Yeah.
That's the kind of city.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's it. You know, and I mean, it was crazy. I got everything that I wanted as a cop there. I really did. Young, aggressive guy, chasing bad guys, worked in the worst areas of the city. Very, very proactive. I didn't work patrol for very long. You know, my joke is I wrote one traffic ticket my entire career there. Wow. And it was because it was when I was working narcotics and I needed the traffic citation for the PC for the stop because I knew he was carrying weight, you know? Yeah. So that's the only traffic ticket I ever wrote, you know? Got everything I wanted from I call shootings and gunfights different things, right? Mm-hmm. Shootings one way, right? Where the guy doesn't get a round off yet. You know, he's pulling a gun on you, pop, pop, and it's done and over with. And then gunfights are banging back and forth. So I've had both. You know, I got shootings and gunfights, car chases, foot chases, fights, good fights, bad fights. Went to the hospital a couple times, put people in the hospital a couple times. You know, was there for Katrina, and really got everything that I wanted. Fast forward, met a friend down there who was a former Green Beret. He worked for Triple Canopy, and he said, "Hey, you ever think about leaving law enforcement?" I said, "No, not really." You know, he goes, "What about Contra?" I was like, "Well, I thought you had to be a special operations guy to do that." And this was kind of in the early days. And he's like, "Yeah, you do, but if I vouch for your resume, you can at least go to selection."
So when is this? When is the what year is this year?
That actually happened after Katrina.
Oh yeah, so Katrina. Yeah. When was that?
Katrina was August 28th. 2005.
That's 5 or 6. Yeah,
I think 28th. Yeah, 2005.
Yeah. Even now, man, the climate of police work is so different even from then.
So
but that was not
different.
even 20 years ago.
Yeah. It's drastically different. Drastically different.
I became a cop in 2010, and it's drastically different.
Yeah, drastically different. I left officially. I took a leave of absence from NOPD to go contract for a little over a year, and then I came back, and then left completely in mid 2010. And then I contracted from 2010 to 2017, and then moved back to the States and got back on with the sheriff's office on the North Shore. Very, very rural, conservative area. So the climate was still kind of back in the old days.
Yeah. Let's go back to, because Triple Canopy at that time, for those who don't know, you had Blackwater and Triple Canopy were two big ones.
Right.
I had a lot of guys from Force Recon. A lot of SEALs were going to Triple Canopy. So it's definitely like almost everybody there was soft. So that's a big deal for you to get on over there.
So I share this. It's crazy. I sent my resume in. My buddy said, "Hey, I know that guy. I vouch for his resume." He told me, "When you go to training, you don't know me. Don't mention my name. If I see you, I'm not even going to acknowledge you. You're on your own. You're getting this on your own merit," which I wanted. I don't want any favors.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the first day I fly in. It's like in Winchester, Virginia, where the old BSR was.
Yep.
And we get driven up to these cabins.
By the way, I used to go to BSR, Bill Scott Raceway.
Yeah, Bill Scott Raceway,
you know, the driving training, we used to, command used to send us there every year.
So much fun, man. So much fun. And like, we do dumb stuff, you know? Yeah. But I'll never forget, we drive up in all these 16-pack vans. I don't know, it's probably like 40 of us. Mm-hmm. And they drive us up to this cabin. "Hey, gents, go ahead, grab your bags, put them in the back wall. Your names are in alphabetical order on your desk. Find your name and have a seat." Pretty simple instructions. So we all go in, drop our bags. My name starts with an L. I kind of know a general area where that will start, right? Yeah. So I narrow that down, find my seat. And all the cadre standing up at the front by like a chalkboard, you know? And there's one guy still walking around looking for his name. Everyone else is seated. One guy looking for his name still. And the lead instructor goes, "Hey, sir, what's your name?" And guy says his name. He goes, "Go ahead, grab your bag and head back outside of the van." Go ahead. Guy turns around, grabs his bag, heads back out. And he goes, "Gents, this is not a pass or fail evolution. We don't need all 40 of you. We need the best of you here. I'll take 2 of you if that's all that really makes it. If you're the last MFer to find your name in alphabetical order, that means there's 39 other dudes that are better than you here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, Roger this." Okay. So anyway, I graduated. Selection was a true 30-day selection, you know, pass or fail every morning. The black Chinook, that white van's pulling up, and roster number 7, roster number 13, roster number 22, get in the van. They're gone. Poof. And I think, I don't know, like less than half the class graduated. And then I went to go work for Triple Canopy, and it was cool. I mean, it was, there was a portion where I definitely feel like not to say that I didn't belong, but I made sure that I was never the weak link.
Yeah.
I made sure that everything that I did was perfect. While other guys were kind of up hanging out, partying or drinking, I'm in my room doing map studies of the area because I didn't want to screw up. I didn't have a trident or a long tab or dual cool to fall back on, you know?
Yeah.
Let's pause a little bit. Just go back for something that we all love and share.
Yeah.
And there's a common interest, and I think why we did this, except for maybe Chad, because he's been doing it for too long. But yeah, he's the old guy in the room. But you started jiu-jitsu. We all love jiu-jitsu. You started jiu-jitsu, but back when you were a police officer. That's why you started jiu-jitsu, correct?
Yeah.
Because you're like, man, this is.
Yeah. So I, coming up as a kid, I played ice hockey as a kid, fought a lot. One of my good friends' dads was a Golden Gloves boxer. So we boxed a lot. Me and my friend, he taught us how to box starting from 9 years old. So I knew how to move and punch and stuff like that. And I became a cop. I was aggressive, fit, athletic, knew how to fight, knew how to punch, knew how to box. And that was about it. Yeah. And became a cop, started chasing dudes, tackling them, grabbing them, they'd squirm out. I'd get hit. I'd hit them. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need something else. I need to really learn how to wrestle dudes and grapple. So I found a local gym in the city and started training jiu-jitsu. Like most young, aggressive, athletic dudes, the gi is stupid, man. Right?
Yeah.
Who wears a gi, man? You don't wear that on the street. And now all I do is train in the gi. Folks, where's the camera? Train in the gi, please. Train in the gi.
Yeah, because it replicates clothes.
It replicates clothes.
And I have a rule: no clothes, no fight. No fight. Naked people are usually crazy.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to tear like clothes, but it's you keep training with it. So here's Sean. You don't know this. I didn't tell you this before, but really cool. So he starts training jiu-jitsu with the guys that. Under the guys that I started jiu-jitsu with in New Orleans, like Mateus Meister, Marcos Macera,
Marco,
Tony Canales, cool. All those guys, Daniel DeSalvo, right? Danny DeSalvo,
Darren DeSalvo,
all those guys that I started Brazilian jiu-jitsu with. That's
where I started too. It's crazy how small the community is.
Mateus and I did our first night of Brazilian jiu-jitsu together with Alfredo Ramirez.
No way.
Yeah, we trained.
That's crazy. Yeah. Good people.
That's cool though. I want to dive into this a little bit just because I'm super passionate about it. That's why I started jiu-jitsu. I started jiu-jitsu because I was a cop and I wanted to make sure that I made it home. I wanted to make sure that my job didn't cost my wife, her husband, and my future children their father, So, man, I think it's so important. And I'm saying this on camera because I want people to hear this. If you're a cop and you don't do jiu-jitsu, and
quit the profession and go sell cars.
Yes, at least some minimum level of self-defense. But I mean, jiu-jitsu we know now is the king. Yeah. So
you're a future participant in your own tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe your own death.
I think it
or
should
someone else's.
Or someone else's.
Yeah. I think it should be absolutely mandatory. And I think that the governing bodies, like in Texas, it's TCOL, Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, should require minimum level of training every single weekly. And the department should be supported in having a staff officer that's their sole job is to prepare the police officers for grappling or fighting on the streets. Because what it would do is it would increase confidence, right? It would increase command presence,
increases professionalism, lowers liability.
Absolutely,
lowers liability,
and it would.
Yeah, because you don't know what you can do. You can take a 5 D cell mag light and smash somebody in the head with it.
My gosh, because you don't know what you're doing.
That's right. I can expand a baton and smash you with a piece of metal pipe.
Yeah.
But I can't arm drag you to a rear naked choke, set you down, put you in handcuffs, and then go, hey, wake up, dummy.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
No one's hurt.
Yeah. And I think it would drastically reduce shootings, even good shoots. Massively. I mean, we both know all in this room that the vast majority of officer-involved shootings are all good shoots, no matter what the media will tell you. But even good shoots, it would drastically reduce.
Massively. So let's go down this rabbit hole real quick, because this is something I'm massively passionate about. Yeah. Started jiu-jitsu when I was a young policeman in New Orleans. And, I tell this story all the time. I was responding. I think I was like the third or fourth officer responding to this incident. And I don't remember exactly all the details, but I show up and there's 3 officers, 2 of which are female, guns drawn on this dude, no shirt on. He's got an empty holster on his waistband. He's a Hispanic dude, gang tats, all the stuff. And he's yelling, shoot me, MFer, shoot me, I'll make you kill me. And they're all screaming at him. And I walk up and I'm like maybe 10, 15 pounds heavier than I am now. Just solid, just jack young kid, I've been grappling for about a year now. So I'm like, I know everything, right?
Yeah.
I'm a bad white belt now, you know? And exactly,
baby.
you know? And
4 pieces of tape.
that's it. I got some tape on my belt. What? And I show up. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You're going to have to kill me. You're going to kill me, pig, all this stuff. I'm like, stop. I'm like, put your guns away. He doesn't even have a gun. His hands are empty. There's nothing in his holster. Like, there's no gun anywhere. Like, relax. And I was like, they're still young. I'm like, get out, go. I'm like, dude, here's the deal. And he broke the law, so he had to go to jail. Right?
Yeah.
I was like, here's the deal, man. You're a man. I'm a man. I don't know who you are. I don't hate you. I don't even know you. You don't know me. I'm a police. I'm the police. You broke the law. You got to go to jail, homie.
Yeah.
But we can treat each other with respect. I said, or we cannot. And I said, if you want to get down, and part of my language, if you want to get down and beat the you know what out of each other, then we can do that. Look at me. I'm down for it. Like, do I look like those other cops? No, I'm down. You want to get down and beat the crap out of each other in your driveway right now? Cool. I'm down for that. Let's get down. I said, or we can be cool with each other. I'll put you in handcuffs. I'll take you with me. You'll go in my car. We'll have a conversation. We'll figure it out. And literally it got to the point where he's like, man, no cops ever talked to me like that.
Yeah.
I said, dude, I'm not going to call you names. I'm not going to cuss at you. I don't hate you. I'm doing my job. You broke the law. You got to go to jail. You can go to hospital first. Because I promise you, like, you want to get down, we can get down. Look at me, like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you're right. And he came up, turned around, I put him in handcuffs. We had a good chat on the way to jail. But nowadays I see all these young kids and I got stopped not too long ago. And this young kid, probably 30 pounds overweight, couldn't have been more than like 24, 25 years old, comes up and he's all this stuff. Let me see your light. I'm like, bro, one, I was still a cop at the time. I was like, bro, one, you're coming at me with completely the wrong body language, the wrong tone, the wrong everything. I said, I'm a cop. But if I wasn't and you talk to me like that, like we'd have some problems.
Yeah.
And now that I am a cop, I know who your supervisor is because I know everyone in this town. I was like, you gotta stop. Come see me at my gym, dude, because you need to change something because someone's going to get out and beat the crap out of you.
Yeah.
You know? And so with my agency at the time, St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office, I'm no longer there, but we instituted a jiu-jitsu program during the academy for the cadets. Not defensive tactics, not handcuffing and arresting, like straight jiu-jitsu. Minimum of 3 days a week, they do jiu-jitsu for the entirety of the academy. So I think it's like 21 weeks for the whole post one. And then we built a whole jiu-jitsu room, sprung floor, wall mats, everything. And basically what we're instituting for all enforcement positions, rather than doing like a 4-hour in-service block every 6 months, which no one wants to go to.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone gets hurt.
Yeah.
Their
body's not accustomed
to train. Now they got to do 4 hours.
4 hours in a row.
Bro, we don't do 4 hours of jiu-jitsu in a row. You know, it's like, and now they can come to open training, but they have to accrue a certain amount of hours a week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this going on. So I just taught at Fairfax County Sheriff's Office, which is one of the, biggest sheriff's offices in the country. They have one of the best SWAT teams. I've taught SWAT team there. And then, but they have a program that's not defense. It's just jujitsu. It's just jujitsu. And it's for like their mind, their body. Like there's, all the pillars of resiliency. You talk about like mind, body, social, spirit. Like it's just for them to be able to get out and train and have the camaraderie and the confidence because they're doing jujitsu. And it's nothing to do with handcuffing or police. And then FBI HRT.
Yeah.
People don't know that.
I've been up there a few times teaching for them.
Yeah. I went to teach there twice as well. And they just have a jiu-jitsu program.
That's it.
And man, it's they're going to be better at doing their job, and they're going to have the mental and physical and social, all those things that you get from to be resilient. You can get that from jiu-jitsu, and it's so good for them.
Well, like I tell these young cops going through, and I said, as a cop, you got to be good at two things. You got to be good at fighting, and you got to be good at talking to people.
Yeah.
The better you are at fighting, the better you are at talking to people. The better you are at talking to people, the less you have to fight. Yeah. It's like you can smile and still be really dangerous. You can be polite and still be really dangerous. Yeah. You don't have to posture and acting tough is way overrated.
I think that's the problem.
Escalates things.
I was one of my last roles was
we just talked about this
full time at the academy
2 days ago, right?
Yeah, we did. Which part?
About like I talked about a similar situation, like rolling up on a scene and everybody's yelling at each other. And I'm like, walked up to the guy, same thing. It's like, hey, look. Like, you're going to go to jail, but you're going to go to the hospital first.
Right.
Like, so
Make your choice.
Make your choice. Like, I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, life is hard, but it could be harder if you want it to be.
And just that, but what gives you the confidence to talk to somebody that way? Because if it comes down to it, you can back it up, and people could tell if you're speaking out of fear or out of confidence.
Oh, for sure.
People can
Absolutely.
tell. Like, am I talking trash and posturing out of fear, or am I like confident? Like, I'm going to hurt you. I don't want to, but I'm going to hurt you.
I had a little altercation with a neighbor the other day over her. Right. And he comes up to me, goes, man, I said, dude, relax. I was like, breathe, brother, relax. I said, one, don't talk to me like this. I said, relax. I said, my dog barked at you because you were crossing the street toward my yard. I was outside. She didn't charge at you. She didn't go anywhere. I said, but I can see from your lip quivering and your voice quivering.
So you're way too worked up about this, bro.
You're scared, bro. You're scared. You're scared and you're angry. I'm not. Relax. Yeah. Like, don't make this something bigger than it needs to be. Yeah. I was like, trust me.
Well, that's the point. I was just thinking about is what I've seen in my last role as an instructor and watching the crop of recruits that coming in is we're getting people that we live in this really, really comfort convenient lifestyle right now, and we're getting people that have never been in a fight. They've not done anything hard in their life really whatsoever. I mean, they sit on their couch and play video games and order, Grubhub to their doorstep.
Right.
And I think we're dealing with some of that. And I think we need people to intentionally put themselves in challenging situations, and jiu-jitsu will do that. Do that. Will be one of those things that's super powerful to do.
I probably should not be the HR guy for police departments, because my rule would be like, in order to be a police officer and have a badge, you have to have been punched in the face. Yeah. You haven't. Put your hands behind. You're gonna get your nose, but like it should be a requirement.
Well, I mean,
the first time you should get punched in the face is not why you're arresting someone. Like,
yeah, for sure. They were talking about HR. So I used to do the in brief for all the cadets. Right, their first in brief, like day 2 of the academy. They'd get on the mats with me, and I'd do an in brief. And this is day 2 of the academy, and I'd go through the whole academy, all the cadets. I go, you guys come over here. All you shift over there. I go, all of you are fat and out of shape. And you'd watch supervisor. I'm like, tell me you're not. Tell me you woke up and looked at yourself in the mirror in the last couple of days and you don't realize that you're fat and out of shape. I'm not telling you you're a bad person. And I'm not telling you that you can't fix it.
Yeah.
If you're willing to fix it, I will climb mountains with you to help you fix it. But if you're not willing to fix it and put in the work, I will do everything in my power to get you to quit or get you fired and go sell cars. Because selling cars, you don't have to go jump a fence or climb through a window to potentially rescue someone else's family and loved ones. In this profession, you do. If you want to fix it, cool. I'm here to help you. But if you're not, I'm going to get you fired or quit, make you quit. And it's like people like, oh, you're a jerk for that. Why? Because I'm being honest, because I care about this profession, because I've got buddies that are either no longer with us, or I got a buddy who moves a wheelchair with a straw in his mouth. Come on, we've all seen what can happen, Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about what the job really requires. I mean,
that's right.
I mean, I might be, laying down in a somebody trying to pull my gun out of my holster, and I need you to come help me.
That's right.
Or maybe one of my friends need that. Or maybe, like you said, a little girl is in need of rescue, and
that's right.
Now you're too fat to climb through a window.
That's right. And I can't get up there to help you, because I'm out of shape or overweight. Like it's absurd. It's unacceptable.
If you're watching and wondering what I'm holding here, this beautiful piece of equipment, this is the Smith & Wesson Volunteer. It's one of my favorite firearms from Smith & Wesson. And I am a proud ambassador of Smith & Wesson firearms. I have been a lifelong fan of Smith & Wesson. They are one of the most iconic American companies, have been around for 170 years, making the best firearms, Second Amendment focused. And I love the people there. This from the CEO to the vice president that have become personal friends of mine. They are supporters of our military and first responder communities. In fact, they are supporters of Mighty Oaks, which makes them the premier sponsor of this show. And if you are in the market for one of the best firearms out there, then whether it's a rifle, a pistol, for whatever reason, for hunting, for self-defense, you need to get yourself a Smith & Wesson. You can't go wrong with Smith & Wesson. The quality, the craftsmanship, and the company itself is no way you could go wrong. So check out Smith & Wesson and get yourself one of the most iconic American firearms you get your hands on. Smith & Wesson, my go-to, and a proud supporter of Mighty Oaks and our military and first responder communities. All right, guys, I want to thank one of our show sponsors. By the way, all the sponsors for Resilience are supporters of Mighty Oaks for our military and first responder communities. No better one than Gators. Gators has been serving the military and first responder communities with the most incredible American-made eyewear for 35 years. Lifetime frames. Before I got involved with them professionally, I wore Gators all over the world through military operations. The ballistic lenses are something I really believe in. The aluminum frames, just the clarity of the lenses, their polarization. I wore them for skydiving because they have a polarized lens that allows you to see digital screens. And so for skydiving, shooting, you name it, all the crazy activities I do, I wore Gators. And then now I'm blessed to be in a relationship with them, and they're an amazing partner for Mighty Oaks. The best eyewear out there. Again, lifetime frame, American made, 35 years of service to our military and first responder communities. There is no better eyewear out there than Gators, and they look super cool. So I love mine, and get yourself some.
So all that to say, if you're going to be a cop, be fit,
Train jiu-jitsu.
Train jiu-jitsu, eat properly.
That's right.
Follow all the pillars of resilience, mind, body, spirit, and social. To be strong and capable to do the job. So we'll go back. We'll go back.
And if I'm leaving this episode and you're in a fat cop and you heard this episode and you're upset, then you pull me over, I'll take the ticket and still say that.
But look,
I'll still tell you the truth. I'll still tell you the truth.
On that, like, here's the deal. You won't meet 3 guys that are more interested in helping you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have programs for cops in my academy just for them.
Yeah.
I want to help those guys. If they want help, nobody wants to be fat and out of shape.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And FieldCraft even has, I know FieldCraft, Sheepdog, Tim Kennedy, who's here in Texas. Like, we could probably name a couple other ones that have programs, and not only, I think, free programs, discounted programs, to help police officers be able to shoot better, live better.
That's right.
Have a stronger mind. All the things we talk about resilient, like have a stronger mind, a stronger body, a stronger spiritual foundation, a stronger social network, like to be better at what they do to serve the community.
There's not a lot of programs, like the military's got a lot of actual programs to help guys with a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Where law enforcement, there's not a lot of that exists. But you got to find it from mentors. And that's what I am. Like, and that's what I try to be to these other cops, especially young cops. Like, you need to get something off your chest. You're having a problem mentally, emotionally. Talk to me. Like, I've been there. We've all been there. Yeah. Like, talk to me. Let's work through it. You need tips on how to eat better in your diet while you're on shift. Cool. Talk to me. I meal prepped. I had a cooler in my unit, or like I wouldn't run into Burger King. I'd run into the grocery store and get a thing of meatloaf or turkey or something,
Rotisserie chicken.
Rotisserie chicken. There you go. It's like,
I'll eat a whole rotisserie chicken.
Oh yeah,
that's what I used to do.
Kill it.
I used to meal prep, but if I couldn't, I'd freaking go grab a rotisserie chicken.
Rotisserie chicken, and I would get the block of cheddar cheese. Yeah, dude. For sure. But seek out those mentors that can help you and become resilient and become capable. So
find a solution. Don't just be a part of the problem.
That's it.
I think that's what we're saying here.
Yeah, and just to make sure we emphasize, like, to point out those organizations, FieldCraft, where you work, does that, offers that. Mighty Oaks Foundation, where Sean and I work, like, we offer programs to help people get, in not only military communities, but in first responder communities, to have just better mindset, spiritual foundation, and social connections, and there are resources available.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even resilient. This is I guess prophesying the future, but we got plans to do big things with resilient on the other side of that as well. So
absolutely.
Let me know. I'm ready.
I'm
ready to help.
Cool.
I love it.
All right. So we went off on a tangent.
Yeah.
But back to where were we at? Triple Canopy?
Tell us about, we stayed in New Orleans for a while. Tell us about Triple Canopy. A lot of people don't know it. So I never went down that road. A lot of people hear that I was, I was in special operations. I did contract for the DOD. I actually, what I did in the DOD was not military, like not contracting. I worked specifically at a command doing my military job.
Right.
But a lot of people that go into contracting do, like worldwide protective services with the State Department contract, or like security, static, or static security or mobile security, like all these different jobs. You worked for a couple of intelligence agencies as a contractor with Triple Canopy and did anti-piracy. Tell people listening like what that job's like, what the world's like. What do you do what somebody at Triple Canopy do?
Yeah, so Triple Canopy got selected through the vetting process. My actual first deployment was to Port-au-Prince, Haiti. When I got hired,
beautiful place.
That's a beautiful place. It could be really beautiful. It could be, but it's not. It's I think President Trump said it, that it's a S-hole, but shout out to the Clintons. Clinton Foundation. Yeah, exactly.
Building it up with all the money.
So my team, we flew into Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and we got some cars on the local population. Got some little SUVs and local population, thin skins, The embassy had armored cars, but our vehicles were all just little thin skin SUVs. And they rented a house for us up on the hill. There's this town called Pétionville up on the hill above Port-au-Prince, which is like, it's the ritzier area of Port-au-Prince. It's a suburb, and it's way up on this mountaintop. And it was an agency-owned house. The CIA owned it, and it was from a former drug trafficker. So it was this massive palace on this hilltop, big pools and fountains and stairways, and like, no joke, like out of the movies, like I think if I remember correctly, like scorpions on the tile and stuff in the kitchen, like wild.
So you're painting a picture of that Triple Canopy life.
So we're living in this massive villa. There's like, I don't know, there's probably 15 of us living in this massive villa. On our off days, we're out suntanning and working out in the yard and like swimming in the pool and stuff. But so there are two programs. There was a presidential detail, and then there was the Embassy USAID detail. I was on the Embassy USAID detail, but we intermingled quite a bit, supported each other. And just really running mobile security for embassy personnel, chief of mission staff, the RSO, regional security officer for the embassy, and generally pretty chill. Couple little things, got pop shots at us every once in a while from a little area called City Soleil, which is where all the militias and gangs live and stuff. The UN were going in there every day, getting in like massive gunfights. Was there during an attempted coup, which was pretty rad. Everything went to hell in a hand bucket. People are dragging trash and trees and car chassis and carcasses out in the street, setting up roadblocks, lighting on fire, the whole 9 yards. We're trying to get down to the embassy, smoke billowing everywhere, like you would see out of like Black Hawk Down, burning tires and stuff. The MSG Marines and Marine security guards for the embassy had a little house south of us, down the hill, closer to the embassy. And for whatever reason, in the infinite wisdom of the RSO, we all know it's good RSOs and bad RSOs, right? But they could not have an armory in their house. The house was not secure enough to have an armory, so they didn't have any weapons at their house.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
They had to leave all the weapons in the embassy. So everyone in the neighborhood knows that they were living there. So when this happened, their whole neighborhood and house got swarmed and surrounded pretty much. So we had to go in, rescue these 3 young MSG Marines out of there, bring them to the embassy,
Not a very compelling way to pivot on this, but I will say, if you're a young person listening right now and if the international life is like something you're interested in, the Marine Corps now, a little recruiting plug for the Marine Corps, you could sign up for MSG. You used to have to be in the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps, you could go to recruiter and
say, it's its own MOS, right?
Yeah, you could sign up for the Marine Corps and say, hey, I want to do embassy duty as a Marine security guard. And you're going to go to these austere places around the world. You'll get one nice place and you'll get one terrible place.
You'll see the world though.
But most places you'll get an armory in your house. But this. So it's not a great pivot point. But
maybe they do now in Haiti. I don't know what they did then.
But what it's a really cool thing for a young person.
And it's right there. Their training's right there at Quantico, right? That's the MSG you're passing on the right before you get to the FBI facility.
Yeah. It's a cool gig.
Yeah, good. I mean, good young kids. Honestly, I've gotten along with all the young Marines. Like, if I needed to go to war, I'd be like, all right, give me all the infantry Marines right now. Like, they'll just do whatever you tell them. You know. So, it was a good dipping my toes in for me. Coming from law enforcement, I always was like, what do these guys have that I don't? And I don't want to say I carried a chip on my shoulder. It wasn't a chip on my shoulder, but it was always like, am I good enough? Would I have been good enough to make this? So I always had that unknown. So I always made sure.
You mean the special operations?
In the special operations.
Background,
exactly. So I always made sure whatever team I showed up at, like, if I wasn't the most squared away guy there, like I did everything in my power to make sure I was.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that I was the best shooter there. You know, like I'd go home on deployment. You're going to fall off the ledge, chick. I'd be home on deployment instead of hanging out and partying and spending all the money I make. I'd be shooting. I'd be training. I'd be lifting. I'd be grappling. Cause I didn't want to be in the worst shape. I don't want to be the worst shooter. I'd study land nav. Land nav is not something you do as a cop. Well, I need to know that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'd be up in my room, you know, on Falcon View. Remember Falcon View?
Yeah.
Or Google Earth doing map studies of the area. So I knew every road. I knew it like my own neighborhood, you know? And then for me, Haiti was kind of a pivotal point for me, and shout out to a buddy of mine, Tony Cowden. I don't know if you know Tony Cowden. Check him out. He's good, really, really good dude. Runs a company called Capable Inc. now.
Okay.
I think he's out of North Carolina, but he's a former Green Beret, and he was my team leader there. And good dude. And we had this big powwow. They sent all the head shed down from Herndon, Virginia, from Triple Canopy, and they had this big powwow. Both details, probably 100 dudes there, and they're making a shift. And one of the head sheds of Triple Canopy, and I can't remember exactly who it was, but he's like, if you snuck onto this program as a cop, those days are over, because we're only going back to hiring, you know, the top of the special operations. And literally in front of all these dudes, probably risking his job, Tony stood up and was like, raised his hand. He's like, what you got? He's like, well, sir, I think that's BS, because I got just a cop on my detail right here, and he's the best dude I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, that like, okay, cool. So like, all right, I belong. You know, maybe our backgrounds differ and vary,
sure, but
I belong, you know? And fast forward from there, came back, went back to BSR to do a requal, their firearms instructor school. Went through that, and I ran into one of my team leaders at the bar in the hotel, and he was like, hey, what are you doing now? I was like, oh, you know, doing this for TC, Triple Canopy. And they're not really sure where they're going to send me next. Blackwater just kind of took some of the positions from them. So I'm not really sure where I'm going or what I'm doing. He's like, you want to come work for me? I was like, yeah, sure. What are you doing? Do you want to come work for me? Yeah, sure. What are you doing? You know, like, he's like, just call me. Right. So I called him up, and he was running at the time he was running the Scorpion program.
That's for the NSA.
For the NSA. And contacted him, went up, got read into the program somewhat, you know, did the vetting, did the polygraph, all that stuff, got my TSSCI. We're talking about it in a few minutes, but it's you know the deal. It's a pretty long, drawn out process. Yeah. And went and deployed with them for a little bit, all out of Iraq. So worked there for a little bit. You know, the contracting world's feast or famine. You know, and so did that for a little bit, and then got into anti-piracy. Got an anti-piracy for a little bit. Did that for a few years on and off, and just deployments.
A lot in Somalia.
Yeah. So most of the trips we would actually fly into Egypt, board the vessel in the Suez Canal underway. Bro, that's the scariest part of the job. No one tells you that.
Yeah.
You know, the Suez Canal, it's like the water's violent in there, because you got all these big ships coming through this little tiny canal. And we would take these little tiny boats with our giant 80-liter duffel bags with all our gear and stuff for a month on a ship. And they'd hoist them up, and then we'd climb a rope ladder up. Wow. And the little boats smashing up against these giant merchant vessels. And, you know, some of them are ro-ros. If you've ever heard of a ro-ro is not the low freeboard ship like an oil tanker. A ro-ro is called a roll-on, roll-off. So it's built like a city. So it just looks like a giant bathtub in the water. And the freeboard on the ro-ros are 100 feet off the water. And there's one little deck halfway through. And like boarding the ship with all that gear, like that was the scariest part of the job, to be honest with you. When the pirates would come probe us, we're like, yeah, let's go. You know, like we're surrounded by cover and concealment.
You'll have some attempted.
Yeah, in the early days, a lot. I started doing it right after the Maersk, Alabama happened. That incident with Captain Phillips. The Captain Phillips story. And I did it right after that. In the initial days, we'd board in the Suez Canal. We'd cruise down the Red Sea. The Red Sea ends at what's called the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait brings you into the Gulf of Aden. So as soon as we get into the Gulf of Aden, the shipping lanes are very, very clear. and everyone knows where the shipping lanes are. And we could see it on the radar. You'd see a mothership and they'd be trailing like 6 or 7 of these little Russian-made speedboats behind them. And you can't sink them. They're like Boston whalers. You can cut them into a million pieces and they won't sink. They just float in bobs and pieces. And in the early days, they'd see us and they'd come out, and they got smarter because the early days they'd come out probably anywhere from 3 to 7 boats is how they'd probe us, with anywhere from 3 to 7 guys per boat. So a lot of dudes. And early days was as soon as we PID weapons, the second we PID weapons and we're within range, we're engaging the biggest, baddest weapon system on the boat and then the driver. And we're working our way in. We're smoking everybody. Everyone, if we're engaging, everyone dies.
So rules of engagement, right? If you're working for the United States government as a military guy and you're in international waters, there's certain rules of engagement. Like as a Triple Canopy contractor or whatever company as a contractor doing anti-piracy in international water. These are international waters, I'm assuming.
These are international waters.
What's rules of engagement? How's that work? Who governs that?
Because it was a totally private, there was zero government oversight, right? Triple Canopy was a contractor for the U.S. State Department. Right. So we had rules of engagement via the U.S. State Department, which followed a lot of DOD rules of engagement.
Right. This is totally private.
This is totally private. Basically, zero rules of engagement.
Wow.
Like zero. We had our own set.
It's survive, right?
It's survive, right?
Yeah.
It's survive. There was anywhere from 3 to 6 of us on a boat. That's it. With getting probed anywhere from freaking 15 to 21 plus dudes with AKs, PKMs, RPGs. So, the hiring standards were I'd say fairly strict. When we'd go out on vessels, we had a team leader. And if there was someone that was placed on our team that was not up to par as far as maybe discipline or moral and ethics, we tell them, I don't want that dude back on my team. Here's why I don't think we should use him at all. So we had a pretty good leadership. But yeah, I mean, what they were doing, and they got kind of savvy, is as it went on, they'd cover up their weapons with tarps. And they'd get real close and then pull out the weapons and start engaging the ship to get them to heave to. They'd get close with the weapons covered up to see if security came up with guns, and then they just turn and burn. But in the early days, they were just charging RPGs on their shoulders, PKMs on the front of the boat. And we were just engaging biggest, baddest weapon system first and then working our way through the boat driver, because they carried radios. If we engaged them and gave them the chance, they'd dump their weapons overboard. And they had fishing stuff in there, and they'd get on the radios. They'd call NATO ships, NATO ally ships, and say, "Oh, we just got shot. We're just fishermen, and we got shot by this vessel." So that's what was going on. So when I started to leave that, the FBI started getting involved heavily. And when a vessel would engage, quote unquote, pirates at the next port, the FBI would be waiting for you there to interview you and potentially arrest you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got out when that stuff started happening. So yeah, I did that for a little while. Worked at the schoolhouse for Triple Canopy in between my piracy deployments, because they were right in Louisiana at the time. They're up in Zachary at Jestek at the state police facility. So I worked for Triple Canopy at the schoolhouse as an instructor, and did a couple small deployments for them back over to Baghdad. And that is when I got contacted to put in for this job in Abu Dhabi. So I submitted my resume. Didn't even tell the wife about it. I didn't think I was going to get it. So I submitted my resume for this job in Abu Dhabi, ended up getting it, lived over in Abu Dhabi for 4 years as a mentor advisor to their Royal Guard and their counterterrorism guys. We did stuff down in Yemen with them, some stuff in Mogadishu with them.
You worked with Carl and some other guys there.
So I didn't work with Carl directly. He worked for a different company.
Okay.
And Carl, I think, came out about 2 years after I did.
Okay.
Yeah. But obviously I saw Carl once I knew he was out there. We linked up. But yeah, worked out there for 4 years. That's when I really got reinvigorated back into jiu-jitsu, to turn it all back to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
For basically the 8 years prior, I was a traveling white belt.
10-year white belt,
that's
bro.
That's it. 10-year white belt, brother. Yeah. I was packing a gi and a white belt in my gear, deploying to Baghdad or wherever, finding the jiu-jitsu guys there. Sometimes it was a black belt. Sometimes it was a blue belt. We're rolling. We're beating the crap out of each other and go home. I wouldn't train for a month or two and go back out and train. So I traveled with a gi and a white belt. But when I moved to Abu Dhabi, they import Brazilian black belts because they teach jiu-jitsu as part of their PE in their public school systems, which is amazing. It's changed the country, changed their society.
It really has.
It's massively.
Like on, not just in a physical fitness level, on a cultural level,
entitlement level. And, I worked with some of the different generations and you see it. You see it,
It's
you actually
really,
see it
combat sports in the UAE has actually literally infiltrated and impacted the culture
massively.
And like from just like they have like bringing the UFC there and the Abu Dhabi, not Abu Dhabi, the country, Abu Dhabi sporting events.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can see the difference in the generations of who came up before jiu-jitsu was instituted by the sheikh and who came up when it was instituted by the sheikh.
Yeah.
And it's wild because these kids are coming up through elementary, middle school, and high school doing jiu-jitsu as part of PE.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then if they want to go into military service or law enforcement, and actually I think they have to choose one or the other. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe conscription is part of it now. They have to go into one or the other for a short time. But now at all those academies, jiu-jitsu is a part of their daily life. They have to do jiu-jitsu every day.
Yeah.
So anyway, they import Brazilian black belts. I ended up meeting Thiago, becoming friends with him, started training with him again daily. It was like me. It was me, an Australian SAS guy, a New Zealand SAS guy, and an SF buddy of mine, a guy from Green Beret. It was the three of us training with nothing but black belts, Brazilian black belts.
Thiago Bravo.
Thiago Bravo. Yeah,
that's why he's there, right? He came to be part of the program, the school program.
Yeah, so he was out there working as one of the guys as a trainer over there, and we became really good friends, and we're still super, super, super tight. Him, his wife, and his little girl are actually moving to the U.S. to run an academy for me and a partner up north of Dayton, Ohio.
Wow!
So we're
really
getting
cool.
them we're getting them their legal like paperwork, green card or visa. I can't remember which route we went.
I thought you liked this guy,
but yeah, I know,
you're
right?
moving to Ohio. Brazilians don't like that.
We had this talk, bro. We had this talk. I was like, Thiago, there's no beach, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
it gets cold in the wintertime.
Abu Dhabi's hot.
I said,
it's gonna be thought. It's gonna.
Yeah, I said, but you get to live the American dream, man, and you don't have to be here forever. Start the academy, run it for 5-6 years. We'll get another guy to backfill you, and then we'll move you to the beach somewhere. But he gets to live the American dream. He gets his daughter. Awesome. He gets to raise his daughter in the American dream and American school system and all that stuff. And I told him, I was very upfront. I was like, if that's not what you want, cool, tell me. I'll support you in whatever you want.
Yeah.
But if you want your own academy, you want your own. Dude, he's a 4th degree. He's got no black belts under him.
Wow.
Because his students come, they train for a couple of years and then they leave.
Yeah. They're not, people aren't permanent.
Exactly. So he has no lineage. And I'm like, dude, that hurts my heart, man. Because you love this sport so much. You care about the sport. You pour your heart and soul into it and your students. And part of my black belt's him, part of my black belt's him because he made me love the art again, like really, truly love the art.
Yeah.
He made me understand like how important it is to their Brazilian culture, And he's the reason I opened my academy in 2018. Thiago's the reason. Yeah. So part of my black belt's him.
That's awesome.
I'm getting emotional talking about it.
Yeah.
Cutting onions in here.
No, that's good, bro.
Yeah.
That's good.
So he's coming to the States. His wife's a black belt now too.
Oh, cool. His wife Brazilian?
Yeah. Just awesome, amazing people, So yeah, it's cool. So anyway, Abu Dhabi, got my blue belt finally under Thiago. It's kind of a funny story how it happened. We had already trained that day. And I was helping make dinner. And I think I already had one whiskey, right? And the door knocks. And it's Thiago and 2 other black belts that we train with. Well, what's up, guys? Everything okay? Well, Greg, you gonna train, bro? Because I had a whole mat room in my house, right? I lived in this massive villa. I was like, well, you don't tell your professor no.
Yeah.
All right, man, let me go get my gi on. And they're all in there in their gis warming up. And literally for the next hour, I just got Shark Tank, just murdered. And he pulled out the blue belt.
Nice.
And I tell this to my students now if they argue. And I was like, man, Thiago, I'm not ready for this, bro. This isn't I'm not ready, dude. And it's a cuss word, but he goes, poor Greg, you don't know shit, man. And that's true. Like, how am I telling a 3rd degree black belt that I'm not ready for blue belt? He knows better than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I tell my students that in Thiago's accent, But I got my blue belt there. It was a blue belt under him for another 3 years, and then moved back to the US in 2017. Moved back to the US, got back on the job with the sheriff's office, and decided to open up my own academy. Found a black belt there to be the professor of the academy. And now I've got an academy with 220 students. I used the academy to buy my own commercial property, my own commercial building there. It's beautiful, beautiful academy. You guys ever want to go do something down there? It's absolutely beautiful. We can put about, I don't know, we can probably put about 80 people on the mat. It's
nice.
it's just over 2,500 square foot of mat space.
What town?
Mandeville.
Mandeville, yeah.
Mandeville, Louisiana, just across the causeway.
Which, for those people that hadn't been in Louisiana, Mandeville is actually a really nice place.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you got to live in Louisiana, that's the place to live.
North coast of Lake Pontchartrain, right? And, it's just
right over the causeway.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah. So, that happened. Now I'm out in FieldCraft.
Yeah. And so tell us what the mission of FieldCraft. I mean, obviously I've been involved in FieldCraft for a long time, but what's the mission? What do you do there? What do people need to know about, like, how to get involved with FieldCraft? What you do?
So FieldCraft, obviously founded by Mike Glover.
Yeah.
Mike Glover's a retired, I think he was retired as a sergeant major.
Yeah.
I believe.
He did,
out of Special Forces, Army Special Forces, had a very, very distinguished career. Mm-hmm. Despite what all the haters say, he had a very distinguished career.
Yeah.
Everyone's got haters. Now I've got haters, it's crazy.
If you work for Mike, you're going to have haters.
Yeah.
I have haters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But, so, FieldCraft always worked in the preparedness space to prepare civilians. Everything from like farming, gardening, planning and canning and jarring, to tactical shooting courses, to personal self-defense, to off-road mobility courses. And that's kind of what they focused on, but it was all mobile-based training around the country. Excuse me. And I was up at Mike's house a little over a year ago, and he was telling me about this brainchild he had. I want to open up like a tactical YMCA. A preparedness YMCA. That's what I want. I want everything under one roof. And, he asked me if I knew someone that would run the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program. He's like, I personally believe that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu should be the first pillar of preparedness. Mm-hmm. And I agree with him. This is our Mark 1 motto weapon, our body and our brain. Yeah. This is the vessel we come into this earth with. And with no other tools, if we're not physically capable men for warfare, battle, then what are we? Tools don't help us.
Yeah.
You start without them, and if you have them, you can lose them.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. If you have them, you can lose them. And we all know, like, I had a guy get into an argument with me. He's like, you're a, what do you call me? I think he called me a bully on like physical fitness and jujitsu. And he's like, we don't fight with swords anymore. And I was like, you ever been in a gunfight? Do you know how physically taxing a gunfight is? Like, even if you're not like bounding from cover to cover or dragging a buddy, like that adrenaline surge, that adrenaline dump, like, do you understand? Like, if you're not physically fit and physically capable and mentally capable, like everything else degrades. You can't think. You can't process information.
You can't breathe.
Like you should.
You can't hold your hand steady.
That's right. Like that heart rate skyrockets, your breath rate goes. Like if you're not used to controlling that in a training environment, man,
even guys that are really good gunfighters are really good, with a weapon, you see them not being able to reload.
Right, exactly.
A gun that they've reloaded 1,000 times.
Fumbling reloads, hitting their magazine release accidentally, all this stuff, because gunfighting is scary. It's not like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It is scary. And, I'm a believer. So I agree with Mike that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu should be the foundation of preparedness.
Well, even on that note, real quick, Greg, I mean, and Chad, I mean, I know plenty of cops who have gone their entire career without ever actually getting in a gunfight.
For sure.
I don't know a cop that's not been in a fight. I mean, you're going to get in a fight as a police officer.
And even if you're not, you're putting your hands on people almost daily.
Oh, that's what I mean. Like you're going to get in some level of altercation.
That's
maybe
right.
It's not a drag out fight, but maybe you're going to get in some level
that's
of altercation. Right. You have to be physically fit. And then so they're like, okay, well, that's police work. Well, like, woe the man who goes out with his family and is not capable of protecting them. Their job, 100%. Your job as a man is to lead and protect your family. If you're not capable of protecting your family,
shame on you.
Yeah. Shame on you.
Shame on you.
And you know what? Like for me, and I tell people, like, if that's your priorities in life, then so be it. shame on you, but so be it.
Yeah.
But if your career hinges on protecting and serving others, you better be capable. You better be capable, because it could be your family. It could be your family. It could be my family. You know, like, not shame on you, like, get out.
But I mean,
you don't belong here.
Right. But even outside that profession, Greg Anderson, who's a friend of ours too, and I think Greg's scheduled to come on a show. I mean,
he's coming soon.
No one's coming to help you, right? That's the thing. No one's coming to help you. No one's going to save you. You're your own first responder. Why? Because we all know the response time of a police in average in America is, well, we all know. I don't know. I know it's long.
It's about 5 minutes.
It's longer than a few seconds. It's longer than a few seconds.
That's right. And so, even if it's 60 seconds,
that's right.
That is enough time. 1 second is enough time for you to, lose your life or the lives of your loved ones.
That's right.
You better have some level of ability to protect yourself. I mean, the world. I mean, not fear mongering here, but the world's a dangerous place, and it's become less and less of a safe place. And again, protect yourself. Kind
of going back to FieldCraft, because I get that a lot. Like, I posted a video about some of my EDC carry, and all the comments are like, "Man, it must be hard being that scared through life." I'm like, bro, I'm not scared.
No,
I'm not scared. I'm prepared.
I'm scared to not be ready.
That's right.
I mean, look, it doesn't matter where you live. Like, even Nancy Pelosi in the fancy neighborhood she lives in, her husband had some, gay guy in underwear come with a hammer, attack him. I don't know. Maybe that was self-provoked. Maybe, maybe he invited him over. Maybe he didn't.
Said, and bring him, but no, agreed. But like, that's the thing. And it's funny because I talked to Greg Anderson about this, and I never thought, like, I carry a gun. I mean, I didn't check luggage on this trip, but I carry a gun every day.
Yeah.
I carry a gun on me every day. And I've never thought about carrying that gun for self-defense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think of it that way. I don't carry the gun for self-defense. I don't carry a gun because you and I might pass each other in the grocery store and shoulder check each other. Be like, you got a problem, bro? You got a problem?
Yeah.
No, like, if we're going to fight, we're going to fight. We're going to get down. I carry a gun for a critical incident to protect my loved ones or protect other innocent
100%.
People that are not capable.
When I walk out the door and I'm like, maybe lazily not wanting to take the gun, and I go back and get it, because we've all been there before. We're like, I'm going to go without it. No, I need to go back and get it. When I make the decision to go back and get it, it's always, the conviction always comes with, am I going to be able to protect somebody else in need? It's never because I don't feel safe.
No, 100%. And that's like, shame on us, shame on me if we're in that Walmart picking up whatever, and all of a sudden pop, 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 and you hear screaming,
and you don't have it,
and we can't do something.
Yeah.
You know, and if my family's with me, or if my kids are with me, they come first. Sorry, everybody else. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, they come first. They're safe. They're taken care of. Okay, now I will go do my duty.
Go back in.
You know,
well, that's the world. I mean, again, Chad, not fear mongering, but I mean, we're just outside of Houston. We had 2 active shooters last week. In Houston. That's where we live in, and it's sad.
I mean, at Lakewood Church. Lakewood Church. There were people in church, going to Sunday service, and somebody walks in there with the gun and starts shooting.
A rifle.
And that's the thing. It's not an everyday event, but if people don't realize that this stuff happens. And will continue to happen. And in my opinion, is going to continue to grow and get worse. Especially with the upcoming election and stuff like that. Like, if you're not physically, mentally, technically proficient and prepared, like, again, shame on you. You're doing yourself, your family, your community a disservice.
There's a difference between paranoia and preparedness. And that's what I tell people all the time. Like, well, man, what are you afraid is going to happen? I'm like, I'm not afraid anything's going to happen. I'm just prepared if something does happen.
100%.
I'm not paranoid. I'm not walking around like looking over my shoulder everywhere I go and like keeping my kids close shelter to me. But we have a family plan. I'm prepared. I have the right tools on my body. My wife does as well. We're going to be prepared for an incident to make sure that our family unit is safe and survives that.
That's right.
Well, I think we've touched on it, but I want to emphasize on it. Being prepared doesn't mean I buy a gun, I carry a gun. Being prepared means I buy a gun, I train with a gun.
Yeah.
I am proficient with it. I know to safely use it, when to use it, when not to use it. And that means my, tiers of escalation, which include physically being able to not have to use it.
That's right.
And in my awareness and all that stuff. There's a lot that goes into it. And that's one of the things that I love, what you guys do at FieldCraft, because you provide all that spectrum of training and put people through scenarios, and
That's right.
So they don't have to figure out when it happens.
That's right. And we do everything from like the basic level, like basic pistol or carbine, where it's like, hey, this is a gun. This is the grip. This is the slide. These are the sights. This is how it goes bang. These are bullets. This is how you load it. To like defensive stuff. Well, now we're moving and shooting and reloading, to scenario training where now we're using actually force on force marking cartridges inside. You know, we have a full shoot house in our headquarters. It's a simunition shoot house, but we can turn the lights off. We can dim the lights. It's all wired up for cameras, and they can get that stress.
All the scenario training. Yes.
All the scenario training, grappling with laser guns or training knives and force on force marking cartridge pistols and carbines. But
and I want to make sure, because we're running through that fast, but this isn't like all this training getting guys like us. I've seen in there, you got housewives, you got soccer moms, and we're not just talking about training for like us.
No. It's actually, it's honestly, it's not
geared
for
towards,
us.
It's
geared towards civilians. Like, hey, you did not receive this sort of training in the military or law enforcement or whatever. So we're here to provide you this training that is applicable to your civilian life. Like, you know, we're not teaching them how to build a strip charge and put it on a door, but we're teaching them like, how do you carry concealed? What holster? What belt? Okay, you're a woman, you carry in a purse. Like, how do you do that? How do you draw? How do you present that firearm? All that stuff, right?
When do you present?
When? Yeah, exactly. You know, and excuse me. One of the things that I've started kind of putting into these courses, we talked a little bit about it before we started recording, but we had a class a couple months ago. We had a class, and we were about to get into some grappling scenarios where they had a laser SIRT pistol, and they basically were given. You remember the hooded box drills? Yeah. Basically, we were simulating hooded box drills where they had to stand with their eyes closed. And on action, they opened their eyes and they had to respond and react. And I could either be a threat or a non-threat. I could be armed threat, unarmed threat. I could be a physical threat. And before this all started, there was a group of guys, and like a lot of guys that come to these sorts of training, and I'm not talking down to you, all right? But they show up with their 511 cargo pants on, and they've got their Molly backpacks with their Spartan skulls or Molon Labe or, you know, kill them all, let Allah sort them out sort of thing, right? And they're walking around, and it's not the gray man. You know, and for those of you, like, I wear blue jeans, I wear Vans. Yes, I do have a camouflage, but this is for Lily, you know, but you know, like right. And they're all wearing this stuff. And I asked a question. I said, hey, who here has a warrior mindset? None of them raised their hand. They're all like looking around. I'm like, come on, don't be bashful with me, boys. Like, who here has said that or has told people or think that or have heard them be like, yeah, who here has got a warrior mindset? Come on, be honest with me. And a bunch of them raised their hands. I said, all right, cool. I said, this class started at 9:30 this morning. Who here worked out this morning? Nobody. All right. I said, all right, I'll give you a pass on that. Who here worked out or trained some sort of martial art yesterday? None of them raised their hand. I said, boys, none of you have a warrior mindset. I said, a warrior mindset is not, oh, I could kill that guy if he came running in here right now. I said, that's not a warrior mindset. A warrior mindset is doing the things, the hard things, the difficult things every single day that make you a warrior. So when the time comes, you're ready. Your body's trained to fight. You know, it's more a warrior lifestyle, because even the old days, the warriors, like Spartans, my son fought yesterday, right? And it's the first time he fought in a long time. He hasn't competed in probably almost a year.
And you competed this weekend too.
I competed this weekend as well. That's why my voice sounds like I got choked.
Yeah, but you got a silver medal.
I did.
IBJJF black belt silver medal.
Yep. So I placed second. Thank you. Yeah. I won the semifinals. Yeah. Second place. Yeah. Semifinals via knee bar. So I got a sub and took second. Yeah. So
and your son.
Yeah. So my son competed yesterday, and before his fight, I pulled up that scene from the 300 where Leonidas is leading the Spartans down the hill. And they're meeting up with the other tribe, and the other tribe's all worried about going to fight. Right. Mm-hmm. And Leonidas goes, well, this is the difference. What's your profession? And the guy from the other tribe goes, well, I'm a blacksmith. Yeah. What's your profession?
I'm a potter, sir.
Yeah, I'm a potter, sir. Yeah. What's your profession? I'm a sculptor. He goes, Spartans, what is your profession? And they all get that war cry, right? And I showed that to my son. I was like, bro, what's your profession? Yeah. we're warriors first.
Yeah.
Regardless of what we do, we're warriors first. And you've got to build that. But that takes discipline. And it takes getting up every day and doing something that warriors do. You know, and I'm not saying you got to go shoot and train and sharpen your blade every single day, but you should do one of them. Mm-hmm. You know, you should go train, boxing or jujitsu, or go to the range, or dry fire, or read and sharpen your mind, meditate, sharpen your spirit and your mind. Like, all that stuff matters.
Yeah.
It all matters, and people aren't willing to do that. So I tell people now, like, guys, I'm sorry. I don't care how much you think you could take a life if that dude blasts through the door right now.
Yeah. And your wife trains too, right?
My wife trains. Yeah. She's a purple
shout out,
belt.
bro. What's your wife's name?
Casey.
Shout out to Casey, bro.
Yeah. She's a purple belt.
My wife trains, and I love it, bro,
Nice.
because I'm like, hey, I would love it if I could be everywhere my wife could be. My wife is, but if I'm not there, she's as capable as she can be.
Yeah, for sure.
She's purple belt too, right?
She's purple belt. Yeah.
Yeah,
purple
heck
belt.
yeah, dude.
And she just took gold in her last tournament.
Dude,
she smashed her opponents. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rad.
She's a nursing mom. I'm a brag on her. She's a nursing mom. She's still nursing our daughter, and just competed a couple weeks ago, took gold
That's rad,
as a nursing mom.
On the side, like nursing, and then
nursing
close
on the side.
Close her gi back
Close
up.
her gi back up.
Go out there and freaking choke somebody out.
Dude, that's rad. So I got to ask, what's her game? What's her game? Let's nerd out on jujitsu for a second.
So she's a lot like me. I mean, since we get to train, she's a smash. I mean, she'll smash you.
Yeah.
She'll just put a lot of pressure.
Athlete.
She's a super athlete, CrossFit athlete. Yeah. Like, so she's strong.
Yeah.
For she can probably deadlift more than most men. But she's tiny. She's like a buck 30. She's small. So, so she's smash. She'll smash pass. She'll
nice.
She'll expose your back. She'll take you back. She'll a lot of pressure game.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, mine's 4'11".
Nice. Oh, that's smaller than my wife.
Yeah, 4'11", light feather.
Nice.
So she's like a buck 15.
Yeah,
right?
bro. No, yeah.
And it's funny because I was always a top player. I was always takedown, smash pass, side control. I go to mount and I'm going to Ezekiel you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to mount for you to feed me your back and I'm going to choke you. Right?
Yeah.
That was always my game. And she's like, I think I'm a guard player. I'm like, oh, that's okay.
Hey,
that's
cool.
okay.
Yeah.
So she's got a savage lasso guard game.
Nice.
And she destroyed this chick this weekend.
Nice.
Pulled lasso swept her from the sweep, went to mount, went to technical mount, fed the back, bow and arrow choke.
Nice.
And that's kind of her game. So it's
cool.
pretty rad.
Cool.
So yep. My son, 12, he's been training jiu-jitsu since he was 5. He's a solid yellow belt.
Nice.
And not like training jiu-jitsu on the off season of baseball or like 2 days a week,
consistently,
like 6 days a week, year round. My daughter's 9. She's a solid gray belt. She's been trained since she was 5. So it's a family thing.
Yeah,
we all do it. We're all in the gym on the match train together. My son trains in the adult class now.
Nice.
He's only 86 pounds.
That's right. That's where my boys were. I put him in adult class.
But I mean, he's as tall as my wife is.
Yeah.
And, so he can move and he's getting strong now, He's starting to hit puberty. Like he's getting pecs. He's got 6-pack now. His jaw's starting to square off, So I'm like, all right, boy, we'll see.
Yeah.
I told him he turns 13 this year. I was like, hey, you're turning a teenager this year. Don't turn into a little jerk.
Yeah.
Because I can still crush you. You know that, right? So it's cool. So, kind of going back, like we got to be warriors first. We got to be warriors first. And it doesn't take a lot of time.
I want to dig into that, kind of, as we kind of, circle to a close. The name of this, show is Resilient. And, preparedness, to me, like readiness equals resiliency.
100%.
So like readiness equals resiliency. In this, we talk about the 4 pillars of resiliency: mind, body, social, spirit. To me, that's being mentally tough, having the right perspective, the right attitude, physically taking care of your body, being healthy inside and out, being physically prepared for the things we talked about. Socially, picking who you surround yourself by, like the people you have in your tribe, your circle. I know FieldCraft uses the word tribe a lot.
Yeah.
And spiritually, for me, I'm a Christian. I believe my spiritual foundation of Christian is the cornerstone of who I am, and all the decisions I make kind of are through those lens. I think these 4 pillars really exemplify like who you are, what you guys do at FieldCraft. And I just wanted to hear like your perspective on I know we talked some about it, just your perspective on resiliency, those pillars, and kind of what it means in everyday life, not just as a we talk about like the warrior lifestyle and being a warrior, but just like everyday life, like everyone.
Yeah. And it comes back because, I think people say, oh, being a warrior or having a warrior lifestyle is like you're a fighter, you're a mean guy, you're a tough guy. And I think just the opposite.
Yeah.
I think it means you're a lover. You're a passionate guy. Like we're not alpha males.
I'm like one of the most like tender-hearted, compassionate human beings I know.
Me too, man.
I'm a total chick. Like when it comes to
me
people
too.
think,
and I'm an emotional human, and we're not alphas.
Yeah.
We're double alphas.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and like I tell people all the time, like, man, I'm 45 now. I got 2 kids. I've got something that I'm super passionate about and I love. I've got loved ones that I really, really care about. I cry all the time.
Yeah.
Dude, like
that doesn't make me weak.
No, all the stuff that I've been through in my life and seen in my life, the older I get and the more I'm exposed to and the more I see from, deployments to Afghanistan and combat and burying friends and then the humanitarian stuff, like the more I'm exposed to, the more compassionate and softer I am. But actually the more it makes me feel necessary to be capable of 100% being violent.
And that's the yin and the yang of this, right? That's the dichotomy that we live. So, for me, the pillars of resiliency and being resilient is not, it's a way of life. It's a way you get up in the morning. It's how you live your life, how you conduct yourself. From, are you training your mind and your body, but are you training your emotional self, your spirit? Are you being kind to loved ones? Are you being authentic? Right? I'm a man of principle. I'm not atheist. I'm agnostic, I'd say. I was not brought up with religion. That being said, the stuff we do, the stuff we've done in life, the stuff we've seen, the tragedies we've seen, the miracles we've seen, like I've become very spiritual, I'd say, in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I know something.
Yeah, right? Agnostic meaning like there has to be like there's a creator, a designer, there's a like something is, but
there's a higher power.
You haven't nailed down what that is.
Right. Yet. There's a higher power. There's something that's bigger than us. That's greater than us.
Yeah.
But I've just never gotten pushed into like a structured religion one way or another. But, for me, it's how we live our life. It's how do we live our life? How do we support other people? How do we show passion and compassion? But then we can flip the switch if we need to. Yeah. It's like I tell people when I put Lily, when I put a Lily on a decoy with a bite sleeve or a bite suit, like when she bites, she's not biting out of anger. She's not biting out of emotion. She doesn't see a guy and I hate that guy. I don't like, I'm going to bite him.
She's about to bite Daniel.
No, she's loving it. She's loving it. She's getting her ears are back. She's getting some love. But it's like, that's just kind of the same thing with us. We can turn our violence on with very, very little emotion and no hate in our heart. But that person's about to be a threat to all these people and is about to do them harm. And we're going to put them down.
Well, something I talk about a lot and people probably heard Jordan Peterson kind of sum this up really well not that long ago, but he talks about how if you don't have the capacity of violence, then your kindness like is nothing.
Yeah, you're not kind. You're virtue.
Weak. Yeah, you're weak at that point. If you're not capable of doing harm to somebody, then what is your compassion and empathy for?
That's right. Yeah, if you're not dangerous, you're not kind. You're just weak.
Yeah. And as man,
you're being kind out of like necessity because you can't be anything else.
That's right. Exactly. Right.
You can't be anything else. You're just weak.
Yeah. Exactly right.
And then you
what are you gonna be mean? I'm gonna just push you down by your face.
That's right. You get mean. You're gonna get punched in the face.
And then you without that, you can't hold evil accountable. That's right. And so like if you don't have the ability, then evil's going to walk.
Well, then you're just a spectator.
Yeah.
You're just a spectator in the show and you've got no say, and it's like, I don't want to be a spectator in anything. Yeah. I don't want to have no say. I would not be able to live with myself if something tragic happened to people that are not capable of defending themselves. And I either did nothing or was not capable of doing anything.
Yeah.
Guys, if you don't have precious metals, you got to get your hands on some. The world is not a stable place. Our banking system certainly is not a stable place. So it's important to have precious gold and silver on hand. For me, precious gold, precious silver, and also precious lead to be able to protect yourself. But look, if you are not already into this, you need to go to MidasGoldGroup.com. Our friends there are incredible people. They're incredible patriots. They love America, and they have the best resources on precious metals. The owner, James Clark, is a Marine Corps veteran. He's a patriot, and he is my friend also. And they're just incredible people who know this market inside and out. And you could go there, and if you mention my name, Chad Robichaux, you will get free silver. You'll get some free silver, and you can invest in precious metals and have tangible precious metals on hand in a time of need when those financial markets go down. Go to myskullgroup.com and get your precious metals today. Guys, you heard me say before, you will never hear me promote something that I don't use and don't believe in. One of the supporters of this show is BioPro. I am a believer in this product and offers you a complete growth factor profile. I mean, you're talking about improving your sleep, growing muscle, releasing your own growth hormones in your body, improving your metabolism, just bone density, the way you feel, your overall mood, your sexual desire, your libido, all these just incredible things that come naturally if you could trigger it from your body. As BioPro does that for you. There's a lot of benefits I've heard of from other pro athletes that take this from special operators. But for me personally, I've definitely noticed the increase in recovery. But the biggest thing I've noticed for me is my sleep. Sleep's important to me. I function well with all the stuff I have to do, from speaking, from writing, to running Mighty Oaks, to doing podcasts like this, and going on international operations. Like, I have to have good sleep in order to be able to function at my highest level. And I was not getting it. I would sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night. It was kind of choppy, and I was doing all kinds of things for years. And as soon as I started taking BioPro, I started getting 8 to 9 hours of solid sleep. That's why I'm just hammering home how much I love this product. The people there are absolutely amazing. They're supporters of our military and first responders. They support Mighty Oaks. And the product is absolutely incredible. You have to try it. Go to BioPro, and if you enter the code BioPro30, you'll get 30% off. That's not my code. I actually don't want a code. I want you to get 30% off. And so enter BioPro30, and you get 30% off. Get yours today. Yeah, I'll say this, and I just want to dig further in the piece you said about being agnostic, and not to you specifically, for me, like as those pillars lay out for me, probably one of the most important ones for me. And I was probably towards the end of my last deployment, I went from saying I was a Christian to realizing I was probably agnostic. And one of the shifts in me that gave me like this kind of strength of becoming resilient in who I am today, and also having a compassionate and that capability of really being being focused on my ability to serve others in a good way has been my spiritual pillar. Yeah. I always talk about like the 4 pillars being like a 4-legged stool, and if one of those were weak, that 4-legged stool would stand, but if you put weight on it, it would come crashing down. That's and for me, I had that weak spiritual pillar, and when the weight of life and combat and all that stuff came, it came crashing down. So I really realized I need to focus on that. So I was on this quest for knowledge, and I'm a skeptic by nature. That's just kind of who I am, and nothing. I don't settle for anything because somebody said so. I'm in America, so I have to be a Christian. My parents are Christian. Right. So I went on this really deep journey through the study of apologetics. One of the guy, Robichaux, who's Jiu-Jitsu too. Yeah, nice. He's a Christian's apologetics teacher, and he was probably the one that was one of the real profound ones for me. But when I landed in a not a belief, but a solidified conclusion that who Jesus was, and who what Jesus did, and that Christianity was different than every other religion, and that was the path that I was going down. That led me to really having this solidified faith that ultimately gave me this compassion and composure and focus that ultimately brought my true resiliency in me. And I think obviously I'd be a champion for the gospel because I'm a Christian, as I believe. Right. But I believe that's so important that people have that spiritual pillar.
I think it's crucial, and it's I've had a little bit of an emotional and mental battle. Not probably the last year and a half.
Yeah.
I've been really good for probably the last like 6, 7, 8 months ish.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I had a very similar situation to your situation.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I was doing nobody any good.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was being a negative impact. I'd convinced myself of it. I convinced myself that everyone was going to be better if I was not around.
Yeah. I remember we talked about that last time.
And I went on like a pretty deep, like spiritual journey, talking to buddies that were either highly religious or have done their own spiritual journeys, either through some of the Ibogaine, ayahuasca, MDMT stuff, talking to monks, everything, chakra stones, the whole nine. And look, I'm same thing. Like I'm kind of a skeptic and you got to kind of convince me, but I'm not closed-minded. Like I will listen and try anything.
Yeah.
By
the way, that invitation to Mighty Oaks is still open.
Hey, Roger,
you gotta come, man.
Yeah,
you gotta come.
dude. If I can get the time, I would absolutely love to. I would absolutely love
to.
I
know your boss.
So yeah. There you go. Hey, Roger, tell him. We got another black belt now. Who just moved here is training with us.
Really?
Yeah, he's awesome, dude. So
he moved to.
Yeah, he moved to Utah. Had to get away from Texas, from Dallas area.
Oh, cool.
Rafael Formiga, from Double Five.
Oh yeah.
So he trained under Rafael.
Okay.
Formiga. But good dude. Yeah, he's getting his 3rd degree this year, so he's been a black belt for a little while.
Right.
And we got another black belt to run classes, so maybe
you can break away for a week. Yeah, you gotta come. You'll lug it. And man, look, you'll be able to answer some questions that you have there.
Yeah. With your open mind, if I may, Greg, I recommend for you to read a book called A Case for Christ.
A Case for Christ.
I think we've always been, some of us probably have all been and seen the things that we've seen have been in this where we're wrestling with like what goes on in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm not,
Lee Strobel.
Just Lee Strobel wrote it, and he writes it from
a skeptic.
Yeah, a skeptic's point of view. He was an atheist, not an agnostic. He was atheist.
Yeah.
Well, the case for Christ is him goes on a journey trying to prove it,
trying to disprove the Bible.
Right. Yeah.
And what's cool is he looks at it from a different perspective of like people say, well, why do you believe what you believe? And someone would say, well, faith. Well, you don't understand faith because you don't have a relationship with the Lord.
Right.
But he looks at it from like, can we, if we look at the Bible as a text compared to other texts that we accept as reliable, if we put it through the same test, it actually scores significantly higher than any other. Sure. So anyways,
I agree with
great book to read.
Yeah.
I even have a copy.
Case for Christ.
A Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. I'll text it to you.
He was a Chicago. He was a Chicago Tribune investigative journalist.
Okay.
And his wife became a Christian as they were both atheists, and he got like upset.
Yeah.
Like mad at her, and he's like, "I'm going to go on a journey
to figure this out,
prove you're an idiot, and disprove your."
And he went the other way.
And the results,
cool
the results of his investigation led him. That way now
it's powerful.
He actually lives in this community now.
Well, it's man, like so I've got a shrink. I've got an awesome shrink. My shrink is he's the man.
That's kind of oxymoron. So I'm glad to hear that.
Right, dude.
Awesome and shrink. Usually,
my shrink is awesome, and that's a story for another. We could talk about like. Yeah. I hit the believe button on him a couple of times. Like, oh my God, dude, like man, he had me reading Buddhist stuff and he's got me doing all these different meditations and kind of opened me up to like mindfulness meditation. So here I am, it's like, and before that, like, dude, we're tough guys. We're war fighters. We don't need to meditate. Like that's, dude, like,
that's such a lie. Like,
it's such a lie.
It's such a lie on and you know what? Like, you got to pull my spiritual foundation pillar string here,
dude. I love it, man. Because this is how we grow.
That's it.
Well, I think so. Obviously, I'm a Christian, right? So I believe in spiritual warfare, and I think one of the, if in spiritual warfare, right, there's an enemy. And I believe that enemy to be Satan, and I know that enemy to be Satan. So if you want to take men out of the fight, you have to convince them that being a person of faith is weak, because the most powerful people in the battlefield of combat and life have historically been
those
men of faith.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a strategic spiritual warfare like thinker and like I'm the spirit, I'm the devil, right? How do I take the most effective men out of the battle? I have to lie to them and make them think that it's sissified and weak to be a person of faith and to pull, guys like us out of it, because I can't be a warrior and be the person of faith because that's weak. And you think the two can't coexist.
That's right.
No, that's a lie. The most powerful people in the battlefield throughout history have been people of faith.
That's kind of, what I've kind of my journey over the last 6 years, I'd say, has like, okay, just I can be compassionate. I can show passion and emotion.
Right.
I can cry. I can love. I can hug.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me weak.
Yeah.
I can meditate. I can be spiritual. I'm going to explore some stuff with chakra stones. I got a buddy who's he's a bad dude and all sorts of, been through everything. And we met up. We hadn't seen each other a couple of years. I'm like, dude, what are you wearing, bro? He's like, telling me all about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Dude, there's why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Like explore it, have an open mind. It's like, does it help him? It helps him. He believes it helps him. Cool. Let's explore it, man. Cause who knows, So I'm like, I'm done with like the macho chest beating stuff. I know what my capability is. Yeah. I know what my skill set is. I know where my heart is. I know where my mind is. I know where my spirit is. And it's like, dude, I can hug you and tell you I love you as a brother. And then we can go to war right now. Like we can go off and do work, know?
That's the reason I'm so passionate about that is because I believe that.
Yeah.
And it kept me from being a follower of Christ, because I'm like, I can do that when I get older. I don't have time to like, it's like kind of girly. And a fault to that is the church. I fault it as a bunch of sissified men that promote a weak Christianity and faith, and they let women leave. They let their wives leave the church, and so it created this sense of like that is weak, and I'm not attracted to that, and so it kept me away, and so that's why I'm so passionate about that, because I'm like, not true. That's
well, I think it takes real men, tough guys talking about it, and like I talk to these young guys all the time. These young guys that are trying to go into special operations or young cops or young guys that are already in. And, like out of our eyes, we probably still like, I still look out of my eyes like I'm 24 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to these kids and like, I was with, I've done a bunch of work with 10th group, CRIF out of Fort Carson, and same thing up at like HRT and stuff. And I realized like a lot of these guys,
Some
these
dudes up there.
great dudes. And I realized a lot of these guys are like 10, 15 years younger than me.
I know, right? I'm over at HRT thinking, because, like I'm over, I grew up in special operations, thinking the guys retire and they go to HRT and there's older, mature guys. And I'm like, and then I go there and I'm like, these guys are like, right. I'm just old now.
Yeah, dude, I know, man. I'm just old. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell these guys like, dude, it's okay to like tell your brother you love him.
Yeah.
It's okay to like hug your kids or hug your loved ones. Yeah. It's okay to let emotion out and cry and be passionate and really speak from the heart. And like, dude, have passion, be authentic. Live on principle, like that's okay. It doesn't make you weak. Yeah. It doesn't make you a wimp, a sissy, or whatever, like I'm struggling. I haven't cussed a lot. I've really,
You're doing good, bro.
You
Dude,
did good.
Super good. I don't think you've left one out except for a quote.
We got one beat.
Yeah, one beat.
Yeah.
Doing good, bro.
But it's like, be authentic.
Yeah.
Live by principle. Be passionate about everything you do.
Yeah.
Well, if you're making cheeseburgers, be passionate and detail.
Make the best damn cheeseburger.
Make the best damn cheeseburger.
And leave the onion off when they ask you.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Attention to detail.
That's it, man.
Man, I've been wanting to do this for a while, so super glad you're here, and
I'm honored to be here.
Oh man, I look forward to get back up and training, because last time we trained,
you can't get hurt this time, man. Dude, we got to lock horns and grind, man. We're not starting sitting down next time.
I know.
Your knee was busted last time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the skydiving.
Yeah,
I had the skydiving accident. Yeah, this guy. I don't know. Daniel's our skydiving guru. He's got like 11,000 jumps.
Oh, nice. I do.
And so he drugged me out and got me.
I need to get current again, because Mike's got a couple of jumps planned in the future with some of the guys. I need to get current.
Either one. I still technically get, because I'm the USPA coach now, but I haven't jumped in 6 months now because of my injury.
Yeah.
But Daniel's like, he's 11,000 jumps, so everyone jump. Like,
nice. Yeah, I'll have to come down here and we'll do some jumping. I haven't jumped in 10 years, but I got my A license.
Yeah,
but I haven't jumped in 10 years, so I need to get current again.
Be flip flopping all over the place.
Sky trash, dude. Sky trash. But yeah, it's like just live authentically and be real. And it's an honor to have you here. Have me here. I'm honored to be here. And like, I want to have you guys come back up when your chicken wings fixed and don't come up injured. So we don't have to start sitting down. Like a lot of these gyms, we start standing.
Yeah. I love, takedowns in my games.
Oh yeah. Yeah, come on.
Daniel and Cameron's, he's saying he wants to come too.
Yeah. So, it's like,
yeah,
we'll get up there, we'll lock horns, we'll grind, we'll try to throw each other on our heads and stuff. And I love it. And our new black belt's a big judo guy too. So me and him just lock horns and grind. And we're trying to throw each other. And
that's what I love more as much as anything else.
We had a black belt come visit. A quick side story, but we had a black belt come visit from another academy.
Yeah,
super nice guy. But we went to roll and he sat down. And I'm like, no, dude, stand up, bro.
Yeah.
Stand up. Like, hey, you're a guard player? He goes, yeah. I said, cool. You're going to have to earn your guard pool. If you want to play guard, you got to earn your guard pool.
You got to put your hands on me.
That's it. You got to put your hands on me because if you have a crummy guard, I'm going to foot sweep you and dump you, And he's a guard. So just to mess with him, second he stood up, we slapped bump, and I pulled guard pull.
Because you got the lasso.
I beat him to the pole, put my lasso in, swept him, took his back.
He's got a good lasso.
Nice. I was like, all right, now we'll stand up.
And if Tino, shout out to Tino Martinez. The only reason you didn't sweep me with your lasso is because of Tino Martinez.
Bro, it was good.
His Tino Martinez, he's like our size too. Like he's probably between us. His lasso is like insane.
Yeah,
and he's made my base.
Yeah, good.
You have to, or you're getting put on your back with
rock solid. Yeah. So no, it was good. So yeah, if I do play guard, it's lasso or half guard.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly a stand-up,
nice
takedown wrestling guy.
Same top game pressure.
Yeah.
Hey, so I think most of our audience knows, but where to follow you, where to follow FieldCraft if someone's interested in getting that preparedness training through FieldCraft. What are some resources? I know the book, Mike's book, Prepared.
Mike's book, Prepared, is awesome. It's definitely a resource. It's like that cookbook that you want on your shelf. It's like something happened. You can literally look stuff up, which is super cool the way he did it. FieldCraftSurvival.com has all the courses listed. I am running a lot or most of the tactical courses out of the Provo area. So coming up over the next few months, we have several shooting courses, both pistol and carbine, like a personal self-defense, which is like simunitions based and home based, teaching a little bit of CQB, situational awareness, etc. I'm teaching most of those courses. Obviously, if they're local to like the Salt Lake City, Provo area, they can come down to the headquarters in Provo. We got a full operating jiu-jitsu academy in there, classes every single day, 3 times a day. We have a gun shop, retail shop, that full functional fitness area that's run by Performance Recovery Group. Super cool place. My Instagram, if they want to message me or anything, it's just my name, Greg Lapin, nothing fancy. I am shadow banned, so you got to type the whole thing in before it comes up.
Same here, yeah. You got to type the whole thing.
Exactly.
Just passed all my fake accounts. And then
exactly. And then we have an Instagram specifically for the HQ location, which is fieldcraft.survival.hq, and it's a separate from the FieldCraft Survival page.
And for people that don't want to go to Provo, you guys have classes that travel around the country, right?
Yeah, so we have classes that travel around.
Coming to a city or near you, maybe.
Exactly. Coming in, and those are all listed. If they go to the website, they can click on the train. They'll see the different cities it's in. So like, I'm actually going out to Hawaii in a couple months to go teach a clout course out there. Denver, we got some courses in Denver area, Arizona, Florida, North Carolina. So we got classes all over the place. Yeah.
Right on.
I'm not teaching all those courses, by the
way. Part of being prepared in Hawaii is painting your roof blue.
Painting your roof blue.
Yeah, for the laser. You haven't seen this?
No, I haven't seen this.
This laser that lit the fires. Michael Cameron, our producer's in the back. He's probably smiling right now. Like I guess apparently the laser that like starts the fires, if it hits blue, it doesn't work. So you paint your house, paint
your roof blue. There you go, and you're safe.
If you're in Hawaii, paint your roof. And you have really nice beachfront property that the government wants, and Oprah and all those people want. Then paint your roof blue.
Yeah, all right, Roger this. Maybe I need to do that in Provo. I don't
know. Hey man, we have some. We have a little swag bag for you. Some Mighty Oak stuff, Mighty Oak's t-shirt, and Mighty Oak's cap.
Is it extra medium to show the guns off?
Yeah.
He did ask me. Large is perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome.
We got some books. Speaking of resiliency, we have Path to Resiliency, Truth About PTSD, Not the Solution. We give these books out to our troops. We're giving away about 400,000 copies. And so if anybody listening right now wants these books, not only do we give them free to our troops, but you could go online, notthesolution.com, and download a free version of it. My book, An Unfair Advantage. My other book, Saving Aziz. Which I think you already have a copy, right?
I want to read. I don't. Is this signed?
I will sign it.
All right. You got to sign this before I leave.
I will sign it for you.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you.
So Gators, that box is empty, but Gators want to give you a pair of glasses, and American made glasses. I mean, look, they're I think you already know Gators make some of the best glasses in eyewear, and especially for out shooting in the range, operating, they're incredible. So you can pick whatever pair of Gators you want, and they're going to provide them for you.
Heck yeah, thank you.
Midas Gold Group is another one of our show sponsors. It's own veteran-owned precious metals company, and so gold and silver, tangible gold and silver. They got a silver eagle, dude,
that's awesome.
And they. When it comes to preparedness, guys, you have to have. I can't
get it out, but
when it comes to preparedness, you have to have precious metals on it. Gold, silver, lead. Yeah. You go to MidasGoldGroup.com. If you mention my name, you'll get some free silver, and they want to give you that as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then I want to talk before you go off. Another supporter of Mighty Oaks and of you and me is BioPro.
Yes.
And so before we hop off. You introduced me to BioPro.
Yeah.
And then I went with Josh Guerrero, who's a great friend of mine, black belt under me now.
Yep.
He shifted underneath me as an amazing guy. He's a BioPro guy.
Oh, nice.
And so learning about BioPro, then trying it myself, I became totally a believer. And then meeting Dustin, the owner, he's just an amazing human being. Yep. And then so what was your experience with it? And
so it's funny, like everything, I was recommended BioPro by two trusted sources, one Greg Anderson and then another friend of mine named Arden Ballard. Arden is a PA, a physician's assistant, and he actually just wrote a book. It's now on the Amazon's bestseller called Home MD. Okay. I might be messing that up, but he introduced me to it as well. And like most things, it was snake oil.
Yeah, that was my first.
Anything you take under your tongue, come on. If it works, you got to inject it, blah, 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 right? And I said, well, I trust these two guys. Let me try it. So my experience was a little anecdotal, and I did my own little case study. And I started taking it I took it every day for 2 weeks. And by about day 7 in, I woke up out of bed, refreshed, not groggy. I would take a nap every day at 2:00. Well, 2:00, I'm I'm going to go take my nap. I don't need a nap. I'm going to go work out instead. So I started working out, doing strength and conditioning every day at 2:00 instead. And, I was on the grind, teaching at my academy 2-3 times a day, getting up, teaching my early morning class. And I started taking this stuff. So 2 weeks went by and I cut it out completely, cold turkey. And within about 4 or 5 days, I went back to being groggy, waking up groggy, needing a nap. Let me go back on it. Let me try. I didn't know Dustin yet. I didn't talk to Dustin yet. I bought this stuff. And I said, well, let me go try every other day. Because, a lot of stuff with dosage is probably about marketing and using the product, right? So let me try it every other day. So I started using it every other day. I did every other day for a month. And I noticed a little bit of a difference, but not quite as much as every day. My next month, bought another sample and used it every day. I'm like, this is it. I'm on it. I'm done. I'm a believer. I've hit the believe button. Got linked up with Dustin. Was telling him some of the effects because it was still pretty early on with it and pretty new. And we kind of connected. I started helping him get into the jiu-jitsu community. And about 4 months in, again, now I used to fight at lightweight. So I used to walk around at 163 and fight, put a gi on and fight at 168. Well, now I'm middleweight and I'm actually cutting down to middleweight. I walk at 182.
Yeah.
So at 43 years old, now I'm actually gaining muscle, making gains, getting more fit.
Because one of the things BioPro does is it makes your body produce its own growth hormone, which you started losing in your 30s.
Exactly. So, basically what it is, it's an all natural, non-synthetic growth factor matrix that they have at elk farm. They cultivate the live elk antler velvet. And then they give it to their scientists. And, elk antler, deer antler has been used in Eastern medicine for thousands of years. A lot of the stuff that you buy in GNC it doesn't work because they collect dead antler and they grind it up and turn it into this stuff where they use live cultured elk antler velvet. So human growth hormone produced in our pituitary gland gets metabolized in the liver, turns into growth factors. Those growth factors help heal muscle tissue, grow muscle, everything. Sleep, libido, mental clarity, brain fog, all of that stuff started to go away. While I was doing this, I had just kind of started my private pilot's license. So I was flying a few times a week. very, very academically intensive. When you're in the airplane, very, very intensive listening to air traffic control and your call sign and doing everything that you need to do. And my brain fog had virtually gone away. I've got some pretty serious TBI, traumatic brain injury, from blast overpressure, from getting blown up, being an explosive breacher for over a decade. And I would about twice a week get hit with these different symptoms from my brain injury. That was gone. And I didn't even notice it. Like literally someone, my wife was like, you haven't had an episode in like a long time. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't. Yeah, you're right. Like, I wonder why. The only thing that I did different was the BioPro. And I started talking to Dustin about it, and basically growth factors, they regrow tissue. They reheal tissue. There's been proof, scientific proof that you can regrow like dead brain tissue and stuff. And so yeah, I feel great. I take it every morning. I travel with it. You don't have to refrigerate it. So
that's a big.
It's wonderful.
Because a lot of people with like when they do like Samorlin or something like that for HGH or they have to keep it.
They got to keep it refrigerated. Yeah. And that's hard to travel with. So you know how it comes in that case with the little individual things?
Oh, you're going to get stronger just from that.
Oh,
trying to get those vials
to pull them out, twist it.
Those vials are in there. So freaking
stuck in there.
Oh man, they're stuck in there. Yeah, that's his strategy. He's that's the strategy. We're going to make them strong,
getting them out. Exactly. But I actually cut out the amount of days that I travel with. Okay. So they're all still stuck in a little strip.
Okay.
And then I put them in a Ziploc bag and I travel with it like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have to refrigerate it. So I take it every day. Again, 45 years old. I train jujitsu almost twice every day, and I do strength and conditioning almost every day in one form or another. Sleep is good. I feel healthy. Haven't really had a TBI episode in a long time. The TBI episodes that I have had have been super minor, and they've been after we've done like a full day or two of explosive breaching training.
How long have you been on BioPro?
About 2 years now.
About 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years now.
And so, hey, look, all my listeners know this. I do not promote anything that I hadn't used myself or will use. I just won't do it. And I think, like I say, Smith & Wesson, Gators, Midas Gold. I'm a customer first. Like and BioPro. These are all things I used before I promote it, and I believe in all of them. So.
Again, and that's the way I am. And again, it's about being authentic and of principle. Like I'll never support a company just because they want to pay me money or give me something. If I don't actually use their product or believe in their product, I'm not going to support them because that's my reputation on the line. And same thing going to like, we talked about this when you're up there. If I wasn't on it myself and didn't really truly believe in the product, I would have never recommended it to you.
Yeah, you gave it to me. And so everybody listening, like with that said, like Dustin and the company offered me like a coupon code where like I give you the coupon code, you go buy it, and then comes back to me. I don't want one of those. Because I just don't like. I'm not against people that influencers that do it. Just for me, like I don't want you to buy something to benefit me. So so there is a coupon code that's general that's not related to me. I think it's called BioPro 30.
I have a coupon code.
And you have a coupon code?
Lapin 30.
Lapin 30. Okay. Lapin 30. So
I'm not rolling as big as Chad yet, so I'll take the little kickbacks.
There you go.
Lapin 30 is a coupon code for him. You get 30% off.
Yeah.
And he gets,
I get like a dime. I don't know. It's a small, nonetheless, again, kind of going back to it.
Support the Lapin family.
Yeah. But it's like I like Dustin.
Yeah.
And he's been good to me. He's a man of principle. Yeah. He's a man of Christ.
Yeah.
He's a Christian.
Oh, very like-minded.
And,
to me.
He's a good person. He's a family man. So I believe in his product. His product has helped me. If his product can help other folks like us with our similar issues, then I don't care about getting money for it. I want to help people.
Yeah.
But he's seen what I've done for him and what I've helped him, and being a good person, he's like, well, I want you to make sure that you're getting something in return. So I again, like, well, I won't turn down the money. I've got family to feed, and like, I'm not, people, oh, you work for FieldCraft and blah, blah. I'm not wealthy at all. Yeah. like I drive a used pickup truck, but it's a good product and I believe in it, otherwise I wouldn't.
Yeah. And I'm happy to take care of you. And I'm not against coupon codes. I'm just good. But no, man, appreciate you having you on, brother.
Man, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll give you a fist bump because you got a broken chicken wing. But hey, that's being a warrior, man. You know, as I was talking to one of my buddies yesterday, and he's like, "How you feeling?" I was like, "Man, I'm not. My wrist and hands totally messed up." He's like, "Good. That means you've been training hard."
That's right.
He's like, "I've never fought a tournament 100% healthy.
No,
because if you're 100% healthy, then you ain't been training hard enough."
I broke it in the first round, a minute in, and I finished him in the second round. So
there you go.
So we carried on with the fight.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That's like warriors, man. Warriors are going to war.
That's it.
I love it. Guys, honestly, thank you. I appreciate it. It's honestly like rewind a year ago. Like, I'm just Greg Lapin, a local SWAT guy. I'm still just Greg Lapin, but now I'm sitting here with Sean and Chad Robichaux on their podcast. So it's it's kind of weird.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
It's awesome to have you.
Thanks.
What's up, guys? Sean here, one of your hosts at Resilient. Thank you for watching the show. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any bonus content and future episodes. We have some amazing guests that share their story of resilience, and you won't want to miss it.